This game is called Marvel Rivals. This is an upcoming third-person team-based game where the game mode ideas are very similar to TF2 and Overwatch. If there's any game we could compare this to, it is Overwatch and Team Fortress. But with that in mind, this game does not feel like a cheap copycat. To be honest, this game does a very good job to feel unique in its very own way, just like how it is with Overwatch and Team Fortress. So today I will try my best to give you guys my first impression of the game after a few hours of grind and watch. The game does feel really responsive to the point where I personally feel immersed almost every time I get into a game. The team fights you have does feel like a real team fight. With that I mean how you preserve your abilities, awareness, overall teamwork with your allies does a big difference in whether you win or lose. But it also isn't as strong where it feels like you can't do any good outplays, which is a huge plus for me. A lot of the abilities for me feels like they thought through to match the respective heroes that you play as. The balancing though, we'll talk about that a little bit later. We have different roles in the game similar to Overwatch, which is in this case Vanguard, the tank, Duelist, the DPS, and last but not least the Strategist, which is the support. Surprisingly, at least for me, they did not initiate any role lock / limit for this matter, which means if anyone want to team up and go full Duelist or Vanguard, that's entirely possible. Funny enough, a lot of the games I play, there's been 2 Vanguards, 2 DPSs, and 2 supports, and that has been the most stable one so far in all ranked games I've played. Though I do like the idea of not forcing any role lock. This might actually help the queue time a lot by not forcing them into a role they don't want to play, and more, team communication is needed, which Overwatch struggles with a little bit related to the queue times. So I do hope they don't enforce this once this game releases. I must say though that they have done a great job in making every role very fun to play. And I think this is a crucial thing to nail down for this game. The tank is a lot of fun for playing Venom, the whole Strange, at least for me. And it seems like you already see some Venom one trick out there, which honestly I love to see. Even though it might be a little bit OP right now. Just a tiny bit. It is like his, I guess, shield that is a little bit over shield or whatever, that's just a little bit too strong. For myself though, I found my new love for a pretty good off healer called Adam Warlock, and might be my favorite hero in the game. He has a great damage output with both right and left click. His right is being a projectile and his left click is being a hit scan, which comes handy for different situations. And if anyone want to know how I believe Adam Warlock should be played, let me know and I'll try to make a video on that too. And before I'm going into the more criticizing feedback, I also want to mention how I absolutely love the art design. If any of the artists or the game devs happen to come across this video, I really want to pat you guys on the shoulders. I see all the love you've done into the characters, the menu, the maps, all of it. It's stunning. It might just be me, but you guys was able to scratch that side of my brain where I was like, yeah, this feels really nice. And I hope you guys take that with you. There are those some things that I believe could be improved upon. The first one might be obvious, and I believe this one is a constant work in progress in the studio, but I'll mention it anyways. The FPS in the game is currently not very good in my opinion. From my experience, I've been averaging between 100 to 144 FPS on all the settings on low with the LSS set on performance. In my specs, I would say it's pretty good. I got a Ryzen 9 5950X with an RTX 4070 Ti Super, which I would assume would have a better performance. Though keep in mind, this was while I was streaming / recording with an Nvidia encoder. I have not played the game without streaming or recording, but I don't think this should matter too much in this case. I want to talk about a small feedback that I want to see changed, which is the crosser menu. The crosser menu feels a little bit lackluster when it comes to customization, so if that's possible to tweak the gap and length with a little bit more detail, that would be a plus in my notebook. The current balancing in the game is a little bit iffy. Some ults or characters in the game are a little bit too strong right now. And to give you an example, I'm talking about Storms and Scarlet Witch, for example, where you're barely able to react from their ulting and you are dead in just a few seconds. It just takes so fast, your whole team are just going down and you're gone. Some might say skill issue. And with this game being early in the game, I would say fair enough. But I also want to mention that some characters does feel underwhelmingly bad compared to the rest of the roster, and I'd love to see some changes to that. I'm not going to talk about the balancing too much right now, cause it's going to be a long journey for the studio going forward, and because I'm in the honeymoon phase of this game right now, I'll forgive you this time. Venom and Spider-Man's climbing ability feels and looks pretty clunky to me, and I'd like to see some changes before the game actually releases here. Currently, the animation and bumps that you do when you're running on the wall with the characters today looks a little bit scuffed, and it doesn't really match, at least how I expected it to look. That's not the main issue here. The main issue I'm looking for is when you're not able to climb certain walls that looks very climbable. And this has been happening a lot when I've been watching Flats playing a game where he's trying to run on walls as Venom in this case, but just wasn't able to climb onto it, which I thought was very weird. And it's not like off walls, off the map, it's very on the map, and he's just not able to climb it because it's like maybe tilted instead of like perfect 0 degrees, it's like tilted to the left 20 degrees, which just makes it not able to climb, which I think is ridiculous. He should be able to climb that in my opinion. And the maps are a little bit weird to me. The one side of me says the maps are great, but the other one says that the map also feels a little bit tight. The spaces are pretty cornered, and honestly I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. Is it that the map are cornered or very tight or not? I am unsure, because your character are actually pretty slow when you're walking, but it also feels very tight. I love the art and I love the design of the maps, I really do, but I don't know. Am I just coping? What do you guys think about the map so far? Or am I actually just out of my head? Because this one feels weird to me. Anyways, that's my summary and first impression of Marvel Rivals, and let me know what you guys think about the game. Which role or hero got you hooked for the game? For me, it was Adam Warlock that got me locked in, and I do want to learn how to play Loki because I see potential as a main healer for him. But if you enjoyed this video, why not leave a like and maybe share it to someone that you think might be interested in this video. And if you want to see more content from Marvel Rivals and Overwatch, hit that subscribe button, and I see you guys in the next one. Peace.